pushing it. Just drive 9 miles over, everybody. We're good. All right, we ready, Jules? Everybody's got their mic on. Mic on. Mic on. Fred, mic on.
Like,
Sweater's cool. Cool. All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our regularly scheduled Evans City Council meeting for Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. My name is Mark Clark. I'm mayor. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Clark.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Pletka.
Here.
Councilmember Johnson.
Present.
Councilmember Neal.
Present.
Councilmember Crabtree.
Here.
Councilmember Delaney.
Here.
Councilmember Fair.
Here.
All right, next item on the agenda is audience participation. Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to address City Council on any item that is not on the agenda and or of a public hearing? If so, please step forward to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
My name's Warren Spear. I live at 4020 Empire Street in Evans. I'd like to address the council this evening about the unauthorized motor vehicle use in Riverside Park. It's out of control. There's people driving pickups in with ATVs in there, unloading them and going right past the sign that says unauthorized motorized vehicles and driving all over down there. I did call the police and they showed up, and actually the person made it about 100 yards away and they caught him, and guess what their response was? Well, I see other people down here are doing it, so I thought it was okay. That's what the officer told me. That was Saturday. Sunday, there was 7 unauthorized vehicles down there. There was 1 ATV, 2 side-by-sides, and 4 motorcycles. One of the motorcycles was going up and down Golden into town, and it was running 30 mile an hour. 2 kids, no helmet, blowing the stop signs. We had one incident down there earlier this winter where over where the kids' slide is and that kind of sloped hill right there, a guy was using that for a jump and he almost hit us. We need some control down there, and I don't know if you can enforce it with more than you can't ride here. Maybe you can enforce it with a ticket. I lived in Evans all my life, and they would threaten to impound your vehicle and write you a ticket when we was kids. So I would appreciate it if you could go and address this issue down there before somebody gets hurt. Those guys are flying through there on those motorbikes. They're dirt bikes. They're loud, they're obnoxious, and somebody's going to get hurt on that path. It's just a matter of time. I know Officer Brantner's been down there when I don't think he's doing the weekends now, but on the weekends he was down there a lot and getting after all them illegal vehicles last year. But, it's not happening now. But the officers, caught that one Saturday, and it was pretty enjoyable to watch when they went flying across there and kicked on the overheads and stopped them, told them to exit. So, thank you.
Thanks, Warren. Appreciate it. All right, is there anybody else that wishes to address City Council on any item not on the agenda and or of a public hearing? All right, seeing none. The next item on the agenda, approval of the agenda. Madam Clerk, any changes to the agenda?
No, Mayor.
All right, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda. motion and a second to approve the agenda and submit your votes. And that motion carries 7-0. All right, next item, consent agenda. Any changes to the consent agenda? If not, I would entertain a motion. All right, I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Go ahead and submit your vote. All right, and that motion carries unanimously, 7-0. All right, next item, new business, 7A, consideration of ordinance number 857-26, easement request from Atmos Energy Corporation on city-owned property at Arrowhead Open Space. First reading, we'll hear from staff.
Good evening, Ty Boreski, Public Works and Utilities Director. As you all are aware, Atmos has been doing some extensive work along 37th, resulting in closure of the roadway. Currently, they're working along the new stretch of 37th Street. They reached out to us in November of last year about an easement to connect the work they're currently working on now and their existing valve station just to the west of the roundabout. And so they came to us in November and originally came to the city with a valuation at 58 cents per square foot with a 50% easement burden. So an easement burden generally is how they go about calculating the value the city receives. That easement burden is based on a number of factors, generally how much the proposed easement would impact future use. So in January, the city went and contracted with an outside firm to do a valuation looking at similar properties in the region and recent sales data. So we went back to Atmos with an updated counter proposal at $1.43 per square foot and an 85% easement burden. Basically because there was some concern that this could impact how the city may have ingress or egress from the Arrowhead Open Space Park itself, right at the corner there of the roundabout. And so this sale is subject to city council approval. So we came back to them with these updated terms. They have tentatively accepted, but we have basically brought the offer up from $1,200 to just under $5,000, using the valuation as a point of reference. So happy to open questions. This easement would go into effect after the second reading at next city council if approved today. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Ty. Appreciate it. All right, any questions or comments of staff? Go ahead, Councilmember Neal. I know you're trying to start. There you go. Councilmember Neal.
Ty, is there a specific reason why they came to us with this so late? Because it's been talked about for months that they were going to do this. It seems like it's a little bit late at the last minute to request an easement from us.
Yeah, they did come to us quite a few months ago, and there was some back and forth. The valuation work took a little bit of time. We wanted to make sure we were getting fair value for our property. As council is aware, they kind of came with 3 separate projects, well, maybe even 4. First on 35th Ave, then on 37th, west of the roundabout. Then since they've come back and they've been working on the south end of 37th. So this is that connector between them. We were always aware that they would be seeking this easement. We just wanted to make sure that, we had all the documentation in place and we were getting fair market value. There was some surveying work done. So that's why this one is coming to city council a little later than the rest of the, work they've been doing. But from what has been shared with us, they're planning to bore through this connection. So, it's not, the fact that it's happening afterwards is not a huge problem from an operational standpoint.
Thank you.
All right, seeing no
I
additional.
have a question. So you indicated that they're going to bore, because I see the pipe. So how are they going to get that underground? from which area?
Yeah, so Sean would probably be the best point contact, but what has been shared with me was they were connecting the lines south of 37 on the south side of 37th Street near the multi-use trail, boring under where the roundabout becomes Arrowhead Drive into Arrowhead Open Space Park. That corner right on the southwest side of the roundabout, and then from there they would bore it under 37th Street to their existing infrastructure just north of 37th, west of the roundabout. And if you want to look at in
Oh, yeah.
the Exhibit A and B show the permanent easement and the temporary construction easement. So Exhibit A is showing that center line of exactly where the pipeline will run underground, and then Exhibit B shows the two parcels on both sides of the permanent easement where they will potentially impact or just need access to from a construction standpoint.
So those pipes are going to go west. They're not, because I know they're on the east side currently, but they're just stationed there for now, and those are being used west of the roundabout. Is that what you're saying?
So those pipes that you're seeing staged out there are being put into the ground right along the south side of 37th Street, and then they will continue under Arrowhead Drive into the corner of Arrowhead Open Space, where then they will redirect back north, because that's where Atmos has their existing infrastructure. I don't know exactly, some sort of valve
I guess
station
that's
there.
why. I mean, I see this, but I'm just I'm trying to like visualize it in my head, so I apologize. So where are the ones that are staged right now? They're going to bore on the area where the roundabout is, and then go east with it underground.
So, and Shantanu can chime in here. I think this is actually going to be their last part of their project. So the work that's happening out there is a bit separate from this. It's going to take the work happening south of 37th, east of the roundabout. It's going to connect under Arrowhead Drive after that section's in the ground, and then they'll cross 37th Street to the north. Did I?
And I
get that
guess
right?
that's where my confusion lies, because I know we were going west, but I see pipes on the east side of it, and so I'm just curious. I'm like, is that going to are they going to bore on newly constructed areas? That's what I'm concerned, because it's already done. Is that going to happen?
So there's been a little change of plans, but for as you said, you're a visual person, so I want to explain that on 37th, both on the north lane and the south lanes, there are Atmos lines. The existing lines are on the north lanes, the westbound lanes, and the lines that they are planning to install are going to be on the south lanes, the eastbound lanes. The existing valve that Atmos has, it's on the northwest corner of the roundabout and 47th. The previous plan had been, and that plan has changed since 2 o'clock this afternoon. So the previous plan had been to go from the northwest corner of the roundabout, go south in the Evans open space area, and then turn east to meet up with the lines that are currently being installed. However, there's been some issue with traffic closures and stuff like that. So since then, Atmos has changed their plans. Now what they want to do is start at the northwest corner and cross 47th, north of the roundabout, and then come east, and then come south from the northeast corner and meet up with the lines that are being installed currently.
Okay, so with that said,
Yes.
are they gonna disturb any of the new construction?
Yes, so that's a great question. So we addressed those issues with Atmos as of today, 2 o'clock. So they do have some potholes on the sidewalk that they're gonna fix. Apart from that, in addition to that, they also have a few potholes that they're gonna be on 37th on the south eastbound lanes. So we have gotten confirmation from Atmos and their subcontractors site-wise that they're gonna flow fill the potholes, but also fix with hot patch on top, so you're not gonna notice it. And as far as, again, traffic closures, we're asking for more details, and we're also telling them that they cannot close 37th, and then they need to have flaggers on site to direct traffic if they're doing potholes or boring underneath our roadways.
And my concern is because last time we were here, we were looking at the road and ensuring that it was okay for approval.
Yep.
And now we're disturbing it once again. And so that's an issue, and especially it needs to be known. And I hope, granted, I know how much we're getting for the easement. They're taking care of all the material, correct? Like, it doesn't have to come out of our pocket, it comes out of
No,
their pocket?
no. So we don't pay any material cost. In fact, the potholing work that they do, restoration of the streets or the sidewalk, it's completely upon Etmus and their subcontractors.
Because
And that's part of their permit.
Okay. Yeah, because I kept on seeing those lines. I'm like, why are those there? I'm like, and I was going to ask, but I was like, it's just interesting to me because I've always known it was supposed to be west. And like, it looks like something shifted. And so they've been stationed there for a long time, also creating a blind spot for the residents of Liberty Draw, for them to, either go left or right. But, okay.
Can't tell the utility what to do.
No, I understand. It's just, I just hope that they are able to patch up everything the way it should be and that it looks reasonable. And I don't know what our say is. I hope that we have some say on how it looks aesthetically. We did spend a lot of money.
No, so I have taken pictures as of this afternoon of their potholes, and I'm going to make sure that they fix it by the city standards or better.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time.
And the same applies to this easement. We did take pictures today. They do have to restore it back to existing standards.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right, seeing no other additional questions or comments, I'd entertain a motion. All right. I have a motion and a second to approve ordinance number 857-26, approving the conveyance and negotiated variation of a permanent utility easement and temporary construction easement on city-owned property at Arrowhead Open Space to Atmos Energy Corporation. And submit your votes. And that motion carries 7-0. All right, thank you, Ty, appreciate it. All right, next item, report, city manager.
Yes, Mayor and Council, just a couple things for you tonight. Reminder that the city attorney interviews are scheduled for this Friday, March 6th. They'll begin at 10 a.m. The day will conclude with a debriefing to include all panelists. Human Resources distributed candidate resumes and interview schedule via email this afternoon, so please take a look. Please take a look at your email. If you have any questions, by all means, reach out. I'll be happy to answer any questions. And then an update on a couple projects we have going on right now. For the last couple months, we've been pushing it pretty hard on the 49th Street ditch repair, but also the 42nd Street ditch repair. So we have the 49th Street ditch repair nearly completed. The street is back open. The ditch is ready for water at 49th Street. We have Jersey barriers in place until the guardrails are installed by the contractor. So that's something that Chantanu's working on. We've been pushing for a March 16th completion date to make sure that water is flowing in the ditch before that time. So 49th Street's moving along, Jersey barriers in place, a little bit more work to do with the guardrails. 42nd Street, the contractor GLH has mobilized, so they mobilized yesterday, and Chantanu informed me that they started working today. So that's about a 10-day project. So once they get going, that will move along pretty quick. And again, with 42nd Street, we're shooting for that March 16th deadline. So both projects are moving along. 49th Street's nearly complete. 42nd Street is under construction, and we expect it to be done by the middle of March. On my next city manager update, I'll have more updates for you on 37th Street Phase 3, State Street, some of the other projects that we've been tracking to keep those projects moving along. also plan at the next city council meeting to bring some information back to you guys regarding BT construction, State Street, sanitary sewer. I'm sorry, not State Street, the East Side Storm Sewer, as we've discussed in previous meetings. So all those projects continue to move along, and I am excited to finally have traffic back open on 49th Street for the first time in about a year. So it's been a long time coming, but Shantanu and Ty, they did a great job pushing that project along. So, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have this evening.
Great, thank you, Cuddy, appreciate it. City Attorney?
Thank you, Mayor and council members. I gave you a pretty good list of things we were working on at the last meeting. Those all still seem to be in process. We've got a couple more challenges that have been presented to us since then, some that relate to the NIST project and the future of the city in connection with that project, as well as some issues on the Mountain Tracks annexation. So we'll be addressing those in the upcoming meetings as well.
Awesome.
That's it.
Great, thank you, Scott, appreciate it.
I'm sorry, what was the last?
Mountain Tracks.
Okay, thank you, sorry.
Yeah, you're good. No, it's all good. All right, thanks, Scott. All right, next item. All right. Council discussion. All right, so first of all, I want to thank Kyle, Chris, and Jeff for their hard work on the committee there for the city attorneys. Looking forward to the interviews. Looks like we have at least 3 great candidates that we're going to be interviewing on Friday. So I really appreciate your hard work on that. I apologize for having to cancel the town hall at the last minute. We'll reschedule probably to at the end of the month after we have a lot going on this month. So it'll probably be the last Thursday of March. Looking forward to the chamber dinner Saturday night. So that's going to be a good event. And other than that, that's all I have. All right, I'm not seeing anybody else up there for council discussion. So with that being said,
Sorry, I just jumped in.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to give you a quick update. Finance committee met and we were discussing some of the language in the finance policies. So you can expect to see that coming up to you. I think we're making some really good progress, particularly in terms of purchasing. And I just want to thank the finance team because what they brought to us was really good catches. So that's all I had.
Great. Thank you, Councilmember Delaney. All right, Councilmember Johnson.
I just wanted to state that I'm not going to be at the Friday meeting due to the change in dates. That date doesn't work for me. So I'm just looking forward to who is selected. All great candidates, and I'm sure you all will do a fantastic job. And also, I was not able to make it to the strategic plan meeting on the 24th. So I would, also look forward for information on that and see what you all felt about that meeting. Some insight, it would be fantastic. And that's all. That's all I have.
Great. Thank you. Councilmember Fair.
Yeah, at our last council meeting, we briefly discussed somewhat how the road ahead dollars would be used and how they're prioritized throughout the city. And I feel like there was some ambiguity as to how that works. And, is it maybe subject to council influence or something like that? And I just want to clarify that my position is that I want road maintenance in Evans, the road ahead dollars, to be based on the pavement condition index and the professional expertise of our engineering director and the city manager in that regard. 49th Street, I think, was the primary topic we were talking about. And I think I just want to state early in that process that I'm fully in favor of us repairing any sort of drainage issues, any sort of infrastructure, water, sewer, gas, electric. And I'm sure that the PCI will reveal that road is in desperate need of repair, like many other. But as far as like a full-fledged widening, I don't think that would necessarily be merited until we have substantial development south there. I think Neville's Crossing is really our only subdivision out there. If there is such a major project out there, I would expect to see Weld County participation as well, as it serves Hillen Park and several other, and Milliken as well. It's a very multi-jurisdictional area out there. That's all I have.
Great. Thank you, Councilmember Fair. Councilmember Neal.
Yes, you alluded to the cancellation of the town feel that this was properly put out to the public. It was not posted on the front door that it was closed, and when the lady went down to the rec center as the door directed, no one in the rec center knew what was going on. If the mayor and the city manager felt that this disgruntled employee,
We're not talking about that. We're not,
Mr. Mayor,
we're not
that
bringing-
bullshit. This
we
wasn't.
we are not allowed to bring that up. That is a legal matter, that we're not discussing that. So move on from that discussion about an employee.
The email is public record. Anyone can request that knowledge.
Councilmember Neal, whether or not the sign got posted or not, that's another story. That was canceled at the last minute. I already apologized for it. That's the end of that. Okay?
No,
It was
I
a last
disagree.
minute decision that all went out on social media. It was out there for the public to know. If a sign got missed or somebody got to, things happen. It's a mistake. We're moving on from it.
Point of order, can we discuss this with our city attorney, Scott Krob?
So I'm not sure I heard the question.
I just wanted to ensure that the direction the discussion is heading is appropriate for discussion.
Well,
That's the
any
employee.
discussion of an employee matter would be improper. It would violate the employee's privacy interests. So that shouldn't be done in an open public meeting.
Councilmember Neal, that was actually my responsibility, and I did not post it appropriately, and I apologize for that.
But Scott, this was in an email sent to the entire city council.
It was.
Public record.
No, it's not a public record. Even if it went to the entire city council, it relates to an employee matter and an employment matter. And if you talk about it in the public meeting, then you will probably have further violated the employee's rights.
But once it's submitted in an email, that becomes public record. Is that not correct?
That's not correct. All documents that come in are presumed to be public records unless they fall within certain exceptions. Personnel matters are one of those exceptions.
All right. Thank you for that clarification.
Sure.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right. All right, so I actually have an idea that I should have brought up earlier, so I apologize for having to go back. But to talk about the roads, I know Cody and I have actually been discussing this a little bit, and we were thinking about actually forming a citizen committee and have a road committee. And what they can do is help the city council address items throughout the city where roads may need maintenance or should be repaired, replaced, however that looks. I think a lot of that onus is put on us as city council to make those decisions, which ultimately they are ours. However, I think we should also involve the public in providing us information of where they also believe that we could use a lot of that road maintenance and also maybe construction as well. Kind of how we've done with like the Parks Committee and all that stuff, but also have a committee that looks at the roads and assists us in making those determinations of where we feel like the index is bad or where we should focus our priorities and everything like that. It was just something that Cody and I have been discussing and thought maybe I'd bring it up to council and see what they felt like. If this also gets the public more engaged in the city and what we do, because if you look at social media, there's a lot of people out there that post about, well, why aren't you doing this road, or we want 49th or this street or that street. Obviously, we're not going to please everybody, but at least that puts some ownership with the public to allow them to have a say on which roads that feel that should be done throughout the city.
I would disagree.
Okay.
I think it's important for city council to establish what those priorities look like when it comes to roads. I think when it comes to roads, it's a little, it's more nuanced. Yes, I would love, our committee's input on what that looks like, but I think when it comes down to committees, I'm okay with parks, with all sorts of other types of committees for the committee to be a part of. But this in particular, I think it's important for us to be able to handle Just because, again, the reason we're here is also in part because we create ordinances and we also ensure where monies are allocated. Granted, not saying that the input wouldn't help with that allocation of money, but I feel if if there was something like that, it would just be solely input, but it all will fall on us and what we feel at the end of the day. I just think when I think of parks and how that has not came on, like that hasn't been exactly established, and we've already had a park committee for the longest time, and there's still signs yet to be put up. It's been well over a year. We can't do that with roads. Roads require attention and urgency. And so to wait for a committee to let us know what they feel after X amount of months, I don't think it's okay. That's just my perspective.
So I just want to speak actually in favor of that. Um, I guess my thing is yes, roads are very important, but the citizens gave us the ability to do better on our road construction, and I think that partnering with our citizens through a committee gives them a stronger voice, and ultimately, I the onus would still be on us. We, we would definitely take their recommendation very seriously. But if for whatever reason we thought that's not the right path, we would still have the right to, veto the decision of the committee. And so I think getting that commitment from our taxpayers who just gave us this 1% would be very advantageous.
Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would not be in favor much for like the same reasons, but I do believe that the city council is the political body of the city. They're the decision makers representing the interests of the residents of the community. And I believe that our engineering department and our city manager are our advisory committee on that issue. And they know absolutely best what needs to be repaired, where it needs to be repaired, when, how, what grants, what other conditions. There's a lot of factors that go into it. And there's already 7 of us representing our community. It feels very similar to what happened with the RV ad hoc committee, and I'm not necessarily, I sort of feel like the decision of that advisory committee was wholeheartedly adopted by council and not necessarily scrutinized in a way that it needed to be to fully represent our community. So I would like to leave that decision-making process solely with our professional engineers and with the political decision-making body of the city council.
Anybody else?
I also agree with you. I think that we as city council should make that decision. We have the able body of our engineers, and having an ad hoc committee really concentrates too much of the population pool of feelings and thoughts of the minority and not the majority. The people that would participate would be too skewed of information, and the professionals that I would want that information coming from, who are trained in the field, are sitting right here in this room.
Well, they would provide that information.
I've already said what I had to say.
Okay.
So I'm against the idea.
All right, and so lastly, to your point too about that, we actually had a meeting with the commissioner on Commissioner Moxley on Friday, and they are still interested in partnering with us on 49th Street. That is definitely still on the table. So, all right,
I'm in disagreement with having an ad hoc committee for the same reasons already presented. It delays the process. I love to have citizen input, but I feel that it's going to be skewed by, well, I want my neighborhood fixed first, is the problem. And I hope that this city council will note that I have not, since I've been on city council, ever pushed for a project in my neighborhood unless someone has approached me with it first, be it annexation or fixing 17th Avenue. It was put through for 4 blocks by the mayor's suggestion, I believe. After we had so many water line breaks along it, it needed to be totally redone, and it was. And it looks great. But the rest of it south of 37th Street's in medium shape, I guess. It's not very alligatored yet, but it's getting there.
All right. With that being said, I don't see any other questions or comments up there. All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.